video, I'm going to talk to you about religious tourism. It's a big industry and it's a fascinating one, so stay tuned to learn all about it. If you're new here, my name is Dr. Drhayleystainton and I'm here to teach you all things travel and tourism. So let's start at the very beginning. What exactly is religious tourism? Religious tourism is a branch of tourism which involves people travelling for religious purposes, like a pilgrimage, or to see things for religious importance, like sightseeing. It is also known as faith tourism. It also incorporates ministries. Religious tourism isn't just for religious people, of course. Many people who engage in religious tourism are actually of no religion themselves. And this industry, whether you are religious or not, is really important. But why? Religious tourism is an important branch of tourism for many reasons. It allows people to connect to their religion in a way that they might not otherwise be able to. For example, a Muslim person living in a predominantly Christian country, or an area that they have little opportunity to visit a mosque. They may also not have the chance to meet other Muslims very often. But by visiting a place where Islam is the prominent religion, they might be able to better build a connection with it. It also provides a way for humanity to preserve our common heritage. All religions are practiced in different places across the globe, as humanity has spread through the centuries. By visiting religious monuments and locations, we are able to learn more about the histories behind these different religions, making religious tourism a great form of educational tourism too. Religious tourism also helps to provide funding for the upkeep and preservation of religious sites. Entry fees to places like the Vatican are useful when it comes to repairs and paying for the staff who maintain the physical aspect of the Catholic Church. As well as this, as more people visit certain areas, governments are forced to ensure that roads, water supplies, infrastructure, etc. is all taken care of. So what kind of things might we do as a religious tourist? There are actually various activities which come under the arm of religious tourism. One major example is a pilgrimage, and I do have a video about pilgrimage tourism and I will link to that one at the end. There are also missionaries. A missionary is a person sent on a mission by their religion. They are sent to an area in order to promote this religion and also provide services that this area may be in need of. The most famous missionaries are members of the Evangelical Church, a branch of Christianity. The term comes from the Bible, when Jesus himself used it to refer to sending his disciples to preach the gospel in his name. However, the term missionary can be used in relation to any religion. There's also religious sightseeing. The most popular form of religious tourism is actually sightseeing. This is something which many people do regardless of what religion they may or may not hold. Every year, over 5 million people visit the Vatican, and they are not all Catholics, heading there to pray and to connect with their religion. They are also people who are interested in art and architecture, history buffs, or people who want to tick visiting the world's smallest country off their bucket list. The same goes for people visiting other religious sites too. They may not necessarily be religious themselves, although many are, of course. Many people want to connect with other people of the same religion or to visit a place that is important for that religion. There are many places you can go to if religious sightseeing is something that you enjoy. So let's take a look at some of these destinations that are really popular for religious tourism. Religious tourism in India. Religious tourism in India is huge. Spirituality is a massive part of Indian culture, with the main religion being Hinduism. 79.8% of the population identify as Hindu, with 14.2% practicing Islam and 2.3% being Christians. Sikhism and Buddhism, while not as popular in India now, were both actually founded here. With that in mind, there are many places of religious importance in India. Haridwar and Varanasi are two very popular religious places in India, and they have been since the ancient times. They are two sites with a lot of significance in Hinduism. Haridwar is where the river Ganges exits the Himalayan foothills, and there is a nightly river worshipping ceremony held here. Tiny flickering lamps are floated off the steps of the sacred Ghat here. Varanasi is believed to have been the home of Lord Shiva, a prominent figure in Hinduism. Varanasi sees many pilgrims visiting in order to purify themselves by bathing in the river Ganges at sunrise. There are also hundreds of beautiful churches, temples and mosques across the country, which make for wonderful sightseeing. Religious tourism in the Philippines. The Philippines is a predominantly Catholic country. 83% of residents here are Roman Catholic, with other branches of Christianity being the next popular religion, followed by Islam. There are many Catholic sites you can visit as a religious tourist. These include the Monasterio de Tarlac, San Jose in Tarlac, with its statue very reminiscent of the Christ Redeemer in Rio, the National Shrine of the Divine Mercy, Marilao, Bulacan, with healing flower water in its basement, Tatlong Cruz, Paiti, Laguna, the site of 3 tall white crosses with breathtaking views, a popular pilgrimage site, Our Lady of Lourdes Grotto, San Jose del Monte City, Bulacan, a replica of the grotto at Lourdes with 14 stations of the cross, and Manila Cathedral, inside the walled historic city of within the modern city of Manila. Religious tourism in Italy. When it comes to religious tourism, Italy is one of the best places. You'll find so many churches, cathedrals, museums, and historic religious sites to visit, whether you are religious or not. Being the location of the Vatican, which is the heart of the Catholic Church, it comes as no surprise. Statistics show that Italy is home to at least 1,500 shrines, 30,000 churches, and 700 diocesan museums. As well as this, there are a large number of monasteries and convents across the country. Assisi is one of the most important places in Italy for religious tourism. This is where St. Francis, the patron saint of Italy, lived. His remains are buried at the Basilica here. Loreto is another important destination. People come here to visit the Basilica della Santa Casa, home to some of the relics of the Holy House of Nazareth. Legend says this is the house where Mary would have grown up, and where she would have received the message of Jesus' birth. Rome, of course, is where you can go to visit the Vatican. St. Peter's Square is an incredibly important destination for religious tourism, as people flock here to catch a glimpse of, or be blessed by, the Pope. Religious tourism in Israel. More than half of tourists who visit Israel are religious tourists. Home of the Holy Land, it's no wonder that so many Christians and Jews come here. Recent statistics show that 90% of all Christian tourists have visited Jerusalem, 89% visited Tiberias and the Sea of Galilee, 86% visited Nazareth, 85% visited the Dead Sea area, 83% visited Capernaum, and 86% of pilgrims visited Bethlehem. Within these religions, there are so many places to see which are of importance to Christians and the people of the Jewish faith. These include Via Dolorosa, the Western Wall, Mount of Olives, the Church of the Nativity, the Church of the Annunciation, and many more. Religious tourism in Turkey. There is a lot of religious tourism in Turkey too. Here there are many churches, mosques, mausoleums, crypts, and so on. Religious tourists can visit the first church in the world, which is the Church of St. Peter. Located near Antakya, it is a cave carved into the mountainside. St. Nicholas lived in Turkey too, so there are various locations that are linked to him, including the alleged site of his burial in Demre. It's not just Christianity that's so present in Turkey either. There are so many Islamic sites of importance across the country too. Istanbul is home to the only remaining items of clothing of the Prophet Muhammad. There are beautiful mosques in every area of the country, and you'll be able to hear the call to prayer wherever you are. Religious tourism in Poland. Poland is another destination which is popular for religious tourism. One very popular site is the Pauline Monastery on Jasna Gora in Częstochowa. This is where tourists can find the blessed icon of the Black Madonna, worshipped globally. Wadowice is the birthplace of Pope John Paul II, and there is a lot of information about him in Krakow too, as the two places are relatively close. Generally, the country has many beautiful churches and monasteries. These make for brilliant sightseeing trips, a major part of religious tourism. And I've been a religious tourist a lot. I think on most of my trips, I tend to visit some kind of religious site. Whilst I am not religious myself, I find it really fascinating to learn about this stuff. And it is a great example, whether you're religious or whether you're not, of educational tourism. So if you want to learn more about educational tourism or pilgrimage tourism, you can see these 2 videos here, and I think you will really enjoy watching those if you've enjoyed this one.